Hello guys, Charles here and welcome back to my channel. In this video I want to share with you a technique which I believe is an incredibly powerful way to improve your chord vocabulary, note knowledge on the fretboard, visualization approaches for improvisation, and your overall understanding of chord structures. This is a concept which I work on with a lot of my students called chord voicing rotations. The rotation part of the name was drawn from the 20th century technique of tone row rotation and taking that approach and applying it to chord voicings. We discussed other 20th century composition techniques in my recent video, Schoenberg 20th century jazz approaches, which you can see up here. Simply put, we're taking a chord voicing and rotating it in a fixed order through all possible permutations. Now, some of you are probably thinking, isn't that just a chord inversion? And you would be correct. But whereas a chord inversion is only interested in the lowest degree of the chord voicing rotation is interested in moving every single degree of the chord through its possible permutations. The advantage of this, other than increasing our chord vocabulary by 3 or 4 times the amount, is that every new voicing can be referenced back to an original chord voicing. This builds our confidence in the new voicings, making it much less likely that we will forget them, as we know exactly how they were constructed, rather than just opening up a chord dictionary, learning a few voicings and hoping that they stick. Chord rotations create several voicings which have every possible degree of the scale at the top of the chord as the melody note and every possible degree of the scale at the bottom of the chord as a bass note. This is very helpful for chord melody playing and for creating interesting voice-led chord movements and counter melodies as a rhythm guitar player. So there's 3 simple steps to the method. Step 1 is we choose the voicing which we wish to rotate. Step 2 is to consider the notes of that chord voicing. And step 3 is, while staying on the same string set, rotate each of the current notes to its next note alphabetically. Let's look at a couple of examples. So starting on this familiar C major 7 voicing. So we've chosen our voicing, that's what we're going to be rotating. The second step is we need to consider what the notes of that chord voicing are. Well, we've got C, we've got G, we've got B, and we've got E. And you can see I've written those out there on the screen. C, E, G, and B when placed in alphabetical order. So starting on this low C, the next note alphabetically would be E. And I can find E on the 7th fret of that same string because I've got to stay on the same string. So that 3 is going to be moving to the 7th fret. My next string is currently a G. The next note alphabetically of my options is B. So to stay on the same string, to play a B, I've got to go all the way up to the 9th fret. So far, I've got 3 and 5. Moving up to 7 and 9. Well, conveniently, that's just a power chord. 2 more notes to go though. I've got the 4th fret here on the G string, that's B. Well, the next note is going to be alphabetically C. That's just a semitone higher. So I've currently got 7, 9, and 5. Already sounding pretty good. And my final note on the top here was an E. C, G, B, E. The next note alphabetically of my options is G, which I can find up here on the 8th fret. So I've gone from this 3, 5, 4, 5, which is C, G, B, E, to this. 7, 9, 5, 8, which is E, B, C, G. Now, following that exact same method, my next voicing would be this. 10, 10, 9, 12, which is G, C, E, B. And my final possible voicing drawn from that chord voicing would be all the way up here on the 14th fret, 14, 14, 12, 13. That's B, E, G and C. So my 4 voicings are this. And if I go one more, I'm back where I started. Let's try another example. So let's use a B half diminished. You might want to call this a D minor 6, whatever works for you. We're going to stay on the same string set and we're going to use this voicing 2, 3, 2, 3. So that's my chord voicing that I want to rotate. Well, what's the notes we've got there? We've got a B, an F, an A, and a D. And you can see I've written those out in alphabetical order. So starting on this low B, B alphabetically next would be D, which I know is on the 5th fret of the same string. Remember, you've got to stay on the same string set. I'm still on string set 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So that 5th string is going to stay a 5th string and we're going up to the 5th fret. My next note was F. I was currently on the 3rd fret of the D string. And my next note alphabetically is going to take me up to A, which I can find on the 7th fret here. That's what I've got so far. I've got A on the G string here, and that's alphabetically going to go up to B, which is on the 4th fret. So I've got this so far. And finally, D at the top here on the 3rd fret of the B string is going to go up to the 6th fret of the B string, which is D to F. So my first rotation of this chord voicing looks like this. Every one of those notes has gone alphabetically once through the list. The same approach again would leave me here, 8, 9, 7, 10. And the same approach again would leave me up here on the 12th fret, 12, 12, 10, 12. And the same approach again would take me back where I started, 14, 15, 14, 15. Now, we can't use every possible chord voicing as a basis for this approach. Not all chord voicings will be technically possible due to physical limitations. However, they will all be fantastic as a visualization tool. Whether you can actually play all the notes at the same time or not isn't important, as long as you can see all those notes across the fretboard to tie all of the areas of the neck together and interweave all of these chord shapes over the neck. Whether you're actually going to be able to play them as chords or not isn't the most important thing. So it's best to stick to 3 or 4 note chords. I'd recommend you begin on string set 2, 3, 4, 5, as we did today. Then try 2, 3, 4, 6, and finally try 3, 4, 5, 6. Next, remembering that string 1 and string 6 are both the note E, we can take the same approach that we used in the 3 times your chord voicings video, which you can see up here, which was octave displacement. And by combining octave displacement and chord rotations, we pretty much have covered every possible chord voicing on the entire neck. And by that stage, you can just see all the chords everywhere on the neck. And that goes to show you just how powerful chord rotations and octave displacement can really be to mastering your chords. So hopefully you can see just how powerful chord rotations can be to not only increase your chord vocabulary, but your overall understanding of the note names on the neck and how the different areas of the neck connect together. By relating all of this new information to a simple chord voicing which you've chosen to rotate, the rotations themselves will make much more sense to you, and you're far likely to remember them because you understand how they were constructed, and you're better able to utilize those in your playing. Let me know down below in the comments whether you'll be adding chord voicing rotations into your practice routine, and share with us any other voicing tips which you found really helpful for increasing your own chord vocabulary. Please do give this video a like, subscribe, ding that notification bell, and share with any of your friends who only know one voicing for each chord. And as always, I hope you're all doing very well, getting plenty of practice in, and I very much look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers!
Roll up, let me embed a story you'll never forget. A drip, drip, but drowning in debt now. You can't buy your way out.